The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning, carried across the vast emptiness of space on a beam of coherent light. Ground stations worldwide picked up the signal simultaneously. A perfect, impossibly clear transmission that cut through every encryption and security measure humanity had developed. Captain Sarah Chen was reviewing maintenance logs in her underground office at Ganymede Station when every screen around her flickered to life. The image that appeared made her breath catch. A towering figure with iridescent scales and 6 eyes arranged in a perfect hexagon. Its voice resonated with harmonic undertones that seemed to bypass her ears and vibrate directly in her skull. "People of Earth," it said, "I am High Commander Zextal of the Zaxian Empire. Your civilization has been evaluated and found wanting. You will surrender your world and submit to integration within 3 solar rotations or face immediate extinction." Sarah's hand tightened around her coffee mug as she watched. After 15 years of preparing for first contact, this wasn't how anyone had hoped it would go. But they weren't as helpless as the Zaxians believed. She was already moving when her secure comlink chimed. "Captain Chen." General Rivera's voice was clipped and professional despite the circumstances. "Project Thunder is now active. Report to Luna Complex immediately." "Understood, sir." Sarah was already keying in her evacuation codes. As she moved through the station's corridors, klaxons began to sound, the first worldwide alert in human history. They had trained for this, prepared for this, but the reality of alien warships appearing in orbit still sent chills down her spine. The shuttle ride to Luna Complex was tense and silent. Sarah studied the preliminary scans of the Zaxian vessels, massive crystalline structures that seemed to defy conventional physics. Their energy readings were off the charts, suggesting weapons capabilities far beyond anything humanity had publicly developed. Publicly being the key word. Luna Complex spread out beneath the moon's surface like a vast spider web. Tunnels and chambers carved into the bedrock over decades of secret construction. At its heart lay humanity's greatest achievement and best-kept secret, the TSS Silent Thunder. Beautiful, isn't she? Dr. James Morrison, the project's lead scientist, fell into step beside Sarah as she entered the main hangar. The Thunder stretched before them, 1,000 meters of midnight black composite materials that seemed to drink in light rather than reflect it. Its hull was smooth and organic, more like a sea creature than a traditional spacecraft. "How ready are we?" Sarah asked, following James through the awakening ship. Crew members rushed past them, performing final checks and preparations. "The dark matter drive is stable and fully operational," James replied. "But we've never attempted a combat deployment. The simulations look good, but we're about to find out if they match reality." Sarah finished. She placed a hand on the corridor wall, feeling the subtle vibration of power systems coming online. The Thunder was more than just humanity's first true starship. It was a technological revolution wrapped in a hull of mysteries. The bridge hummed with activity as Sarah took her command chair. Her crew, handpicked from every space program on Earth, moved with practiced efficiency despite the unprecedented situation. Lieutenant Maya Patil at navigation, Dr. Victor Petrov at weapons, Chief Engineer Aisha Williams at systems. They had trained together for years, preparing for a moment they hoped would never come. "Status report," Sarah ordered, watching as the massive hangar doors above began to iris open. "Dark matter drive at 100% capacity," Aisha reported. "Stealth systems online and functioning perfectly. They won't see us coming." "Weapons hot and ready," Victor added. "Quantum torpedoes armed and gravitic pulse cannons charged." "Multiple Zaxian vessels detected in lunar orbit," Maya said. "Their scan patterns suggest they're looking for hidden facilities, but our dampening field is holding." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of history pressing down on her shoulders. Humanity's first contact with an alien civilization was about to become humanity's first interstellar war. But they had an advantage the Zaxians couldn't suspect. While they had been watching Earth's public technological development, they had missed the quantum leap happening in secret. All hands, this is the captain. Sarah's voice carried throughout the ship. In a few moments, we're going to show the Zaxian Empire why it's a bad idea to underestimate humanity. They think we're primitive, helpless prey. Let's educate them. The Thunder rose silently from its lunar cradle, its revolutionary drive system leaving no visible exhaust or energy signature. On Sarah's command screen, she could see the Zaxian ships, dozens of crystalline behemoths arranged in a blockade formation around Earth. They were impressive, intimidating, and completely blind to the predator rising behind them. Target the nearest vessel, Sarah ordered. Let's introduce ourselves. The Thunder's first shot was not the energy beam the Zaxians would expect from a primitive civilization. Instead, a quantum torpedo, a weapon that briefly tore open space itself, struck the alien vessel's engine section. The crystalline structure shattered instantly, secondary explosions rippling through its length before it went dark. Chaos erupted among the Zaxian fleet as they tried to locate their invisible attacker. Their energy weapons lit up space, striking nothing but void as the Thunder danced between their shots with impossible agility. Message from the Zaxian flagship, Maya reported. They're demanding we show ourselves. Sarah smiled. Put them through. High Commander Zextal's image appeared, all 6 eyes wide with a mixture of shock and rage. What trickery is this? You cannot possess such technology. Funny thing about humans, Sarah replied calmly. We don't like being told what we can't do. You watched our public technology development and assumed that was all we had. Bad assumption. You dare. No, you dare. Sarah cut him off. You came to our home and threatened our people. Now you get to learn why that was a mistake. You have 1 hour to leave Earth's space. After that, we'll show you what else humanity has been keeping secret. The Thunder's dark matter drive hummed to life, and the ship vanished completely from normal space, reappearing instantly behind another Zaxian vessel. 2 more quantum torpedoes reduced it to drifting debris. You haven't won anything, Zextal snarled. The Empire will. The Empire will learn, Sarah interrupted again. Humanity isn't your prey. We're not some primitive species you can bully into submission. We're your worst nightmare, a civilization that developed in secret, that learned to hide its true capabilities, that prepared for the day the stars would turn hostile. She leaned forward in her chair. 59 minutes, Commander. I suggest you use them wisely. As the transmission cut off, Sarah watched the Zaxian ships beginning to regroup. They would be back, she knew, with more ships, better weapons, new tactics. But humanity would be ready. The Thunder was just the beginning. Orders, Captain? Maya asked. Sarah smiled. Show them why we named this ship Thunder. Sometimes the flash comes after the sound, and by then, it's too late. The silent Thunder moved through space like a shark through dark water, preparing to teach the galaxy's oldest empire a lesson about underestimating the new kids on the block. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun, and the Thunder was about to roll. The Zaxian fleet retreated exactly 58 minutes after Sarah's ultimatum, their crystalline ships vanishing into hyperspace with a flash of violet light. But victory celebrations aboard the silent Thunder were short-lived. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across her navigation console. They're regrouping at coordinates just beyond Saturn's orbit. Current count, 37 capital ships. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as more Zaxian reinforcements arrived. They were adapting already, spreading their ships in a formation that would make it harder for the Thunder to pick them off one by one. Aisha, what's the status of our stealth systems? Still holding, the chief engineer replied from her station. But they're changing their scan patterns, using some kind of quantum resonance detection. They can't see us yet, but they're getting creative. That was the problem with fighting an advanced empire. They had resources, experience, and the ability to adapt quickly. The Thunder's technological advantage wouldn't last forever. They needed to make it count while they had it. New transmission incoming, Maya announced. Not from the Zaxians. This signal's different. The bridge screen flickered to life, revealing a figure that made even the seasoned crew pause. It appeared to be made of living metal, its surface rippling like quicksilver. When it spoke, its voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate with the Thunder's hull. "Defenders of Earth," it said, "I am Nexus 7 of the Mechanoid Collective. We have been watching your encounter with the Zaxians with great interest." Sarah straightened in her command chair. Another alien civilization, one that had somehow been observing them without being detected. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the TSS Silent Thunder. Why reveal yourself now?" The Thunder rose silently from its lunar cradle, its revolutionary drive system leaving no visible exhaust or energy signature. On Sarah's command screen, she could see the Zaxian ships, dozens of crystalline behemoths arranged in a blockade formation around Earth. They were impressive, intimidating, and completely blind to the predator rising behind them. "Target the nearest vessel," Sarah ordered. "Let's introduce ourselves." The Thunder's first shot was not the energy beam the Zaxians would expect from a primitive civilization. Instead, a quantum torpedo, a weapon that briefly torn open space itself, struck the alien vessel's engine section. The crystalline structure shattered instantly, secondary explosions rippling through its length before it went dark. Chaos erupted among the Zaxian fleet as they tried to locate their invisible attacker. Their energy weapons lit up space, striking nothing but void as the Thunder danced between their shots with impossible agility. "Message from the Zaxian flagship," Maya reported. "They're demanding we show ourselves." Sarah smiled. "Put them through." High Commander Zextel's image appeared, all 6 eyes wide with a mixture of shock and rage. "What trickery is this? You cannot possess such technology." "Funny thing about humans," Sarah replied calmly. "We don't like being told what we can't do. You watched our public technology development and assumed that was all we had. Bad assumption. You dare." "No, you dare," Sarah cut him off. "You came to our home and threatened our people. Now you get to learn why that was a mistake. You have 1 hour to leave Earth space. After that, we'll show you what else humanity has been keeping secret." The Thunder's dark matter drive hummed to life, and the ship vanished completely from normal space, reappearing instantly behind another Zaxian vessel. 2 more quantum torpedoes reduced it to drifting debris. "You haven't won anything," Zextel snarled. "The Empire will. The Empire will learn." Sarah interrupted again. "Humanity isn't your prey. We're not some primitive species you can bully into submission. We're your worst nightmare. A civilization that developed in secret, that learned to hide its true capabilities, that prepared for the day the stars would turn hostile." She leaned forward in her chair. 59 minutes, Commander. I suggest you use them wisely." As the transmission cut off, Sarah watched the Zaxian ships beginning to regroup. They would be back, she knew, with more ships, better weapons, new tactics. But humanity would be ready. The Thunder was just the beginning. "Orders, Captain?" Maya asked. Sarah smiled. "Show them why we named this ship Thunder. Sometimes the flash comes after the sound. And by then, it's too late." The Silent Thunder moved through space like a shark through dark water, preparing to teach the galaxy's oldest empire a lesson about underestimating the new kids on the block. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun, and the Thunder was about to roll. The Zaxian fleet retreated exactly 58 minutes after Sarah's ultimatum, their crystalline ships vanishing into hyperspace with a flash of violet light. But victory celebrations aboard the Silent Thunder were short-lived. Multiple quantum wake signatures detected, Maya reported, her fingers dancing across her navigation console. They're regrouping at coordinates just beyond Saturn's orbit. Current count: 37 capital ships. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as more Zaxian reinforcements arrived. They were adapting already, spreading their ships in a formation that would make it harder for the Thunder to pick them off one by one. Aisha, what's the status of our stealth systems? Still holding, the chief engineer replied from her station. But they're changing their scan patterns, using some kind of quantum resonance detection. They can't see us yet, but they're getting creative. That was the problem with fighting an advanced empire. They had resources, experience, and the ability to adapt quickly. The Thunder's technological advantage wouldn't last forever. They needed to make it count while they had it. New transmission incoming, Maya announced. Not from the Zaxians. This signal's different. The bridge screen flickered to life, revealing a figure that made even the seasoned crew pause. It appeared to be made of living metal, its surface rippling like quicksilver. When it spoke, its voice carried harmonics that seemed to resonate with the Thunder's hull. "Defenders of Earth," it said, "I am Nexus 7 of the Mechanoid Collective. We have been watching your encounter with the Zaxians with great interest." Sarah straightened in her command chair. Another alien civilization, one that had somehow been observing them without being detected. "I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the TSS Silent Thunder. Why reveal yourself now?" Space bent around the Silent Thunder as it emerged from dark matter transit directly behind the Zaxian fleet. For a moment, the massive crystalline ships seemed to glitter against the starfield, beautiful, deadly, and completely unaware of what was about to hit them. "Quantum resonance wave charged to 80%, Aisha reported from engineering, her voice tense. "But the drive modifications are putting enormous strain on our containment systems. We'll have maybe 30 seconds after firing before emergency shutdown." Sarah watched the tactical display as the mechanoid fleet moved into position, their liquid metal ships flowing into an attack formation that seemed to defy conventional physics. The Zaxians had finally detected them. Energy weapons began to charge across the crystalline fleet, throwing prismatic light across space. "Message from the Eternal Light," Maya announced. "The Emperor himself." "Put him through," Sarah ordered. "Let's see what His Majesty has to say." The bridge screen lit up with an image that made the previous Zaxian commanders look modest. The Emperor was a towering figure of living crystal, his body emanating waves of visible power. When he spoke, his voice carried the weight of millennia. "So," he said, "the primitive species has found allies among the refuse of our empire. How disappointing. We offered you civilization, and you choose to side with machines." "You offered submission," Sarah replied calmly. "Humanity doesn't do well with ultimatums. Neither, it seems, do the civilizations you've tried to crush." "Crush." The Emperor's crystalline form pulsed with amusement. "We elevate. We perfect. Look at your new allies. Beings of metal and void, hiding in the darkness between stars. We could have made you glorious." "Quantum resonance at 90%, Aisha reported quietly. Dr. Morrison stepped forward, his scientific curiosity overtaking his caution. "Your crystalline technology. It's not just your ships, is it? It's you. Your entire species has been modified." "Modified." The Emperor's laugh sent shivers through the Thunder's hull. "We transcended our flesh eons ago. We became perfect, eternal. What we offer is not submission, but ascension." "But at what cost?" The new voice came from Nexus 7, its image appearing alongside the Emperor's. "How many species did you force into your crystalline evolution? How many died refusing to abandon their nature?" Sarah's tactical display showed more ships arriving, but not Zaxian reinforcements. These were different, organic-looking vessels that moved like sea creatures through space. More survivors of Zaxian elevation joining the fight. 95%, Aisha called out. "Captain, the containment field is starting to fluctuate. It's now or never." Sarah stood from her command chair, facing the Emperor's image. "You want to know why we refused your offer? Why we hid our technology and prepared in secret? Because humanity learned its lesson centuries ago. Any empire that demands uniformity, that can't accept diversity, that tries to force everyone into the same perfect mold, that empire is doomed to fall." She nodded to Victor. "Fire." The Thunder's modified dark matter drive released its quantum resonance wave, not a weapon of destruction, but a frequency perfectly tuned to the atomic structure of Zaxian crystal technology. The effect was immediate and catastrophic. Fracture lines appeared across the crystalline fleet, spreading like cracks in ice. Ships began to break apart, their perfect structures shattering under the resonance. Even the eternal light, for all its power, couldn't maintain its integrity against physics itself. No, the Emperor's image flickered as his ship began to break apart. What have you done? We are perfect. We are eternal. You're obsolete, Sarah replied as the transmission cut out. Maya, get us clear. Aisha, emergency power to structural integrity. The Thunder limped away from the disintegrating Zaxian fleet, its dark matter drive shutting down as power systems overloaded. Around them, the mechanoid ships moved in, their liquid metal forms protecting the Thunder from debris. But even as they watched the crystalline ships break apart, Sarah knew this wasn't over. The Zaxian Empire spanned hundreds of systems. This was just one fleet, one battle. But they had proven something crucial. The perfect could be broken. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Maya reported suddenly. But they're not Zaxian. New ships were appearing. Dozens, then hundreds. Vessels of every description, from organic cruisers to energy-based constructs. The oppressed species of the galaxy, sensing their moment had finally come. Captain, Nexus 7's voice carried a note of hope that seemed strange coming from a mechanical being. The quantum resonance wave. Its effects are spreading through subspace. Every Zaxian ship, every crystalline installation that receives the signal. Their entire empire is vulnerable, Dr. Morrison finished. We didn't just win a battle. We gave the galaxy a weapon against perfection itself. Sarah watched as more ships arrived, a vast fleet of imperfect, diverse, beautiful vessels gathering around the silent Thunder. Humanity's first starship had done more than defend Earth. It had sparked a revolution that would reshape the galaxy. Status report, she ordered, sitting back in her command chair. They had won this battle, but the war for freedom was just beginning. And humanity, it seemed, would be right at the center of it. The Thunder's crew began their damage assessment as the combined fleet organized around them. The age of crystalline perfection was ending. The age of beautiful imperfection was about to begin. 3 days after the Battle of Saturn, the silent Thunder led a fleet of 10,000 ships toward the Zaxian Empire's core systems. The revolutionary force was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. A collection of species and civilizations united only in their rejection of crystalline perfection. The quantum resonance wave has spread through 70% of known Zaxian space, Dr. Morrison reported, studying the massive holographic display that dominated the Thunder's bridge. Red points of light showed Zaxian strongholds falling one by one as their crystal technology failed. But Sarah knew better than to celebrate too early. And the other 30%? They'd found a way to adapt, Aisha answered from engineering. They're modifying their crystal matrices, making them less uniform. It makes their technology weaker, but also more resistant to resonance attacks. The remaining Zaxian forces were consolidating around their throne world, Crystallos. The planet itself was said to be one massive crystal, the ultimate expression of their drive for perfection. And according to their new allies, it held a secret that made it worth defending at any cost. Message from the Liberty Collective, Maya announced, using the new name the combined fleet had chosen for itself. The Arcosians have completed their scan of the captured Zaxian database. The bridge screen lit up with the image of an Arcosian, a beam of pure energy contained within an organic shell. Captain Chen, we found something disturbing. The Zaxians, they're not just an empire, they're a weapon. Sarah leaned forward. Explain. The crystal technology, the drive for perfection, it's not natural evolution. The original Zaxians were engineered, created by something far older, something that seeded the galaxy with crystalline technology as a way to standardize it, prepare it. Prepare it for what? Dr. Morrison asked, but Sarah already knew the answer. It was humanity's greatest fear, the reason they had developed the thunder in secret. Invasion, she said quietly, from outside the galaxy. The Arcosian nodded. We found references to them in the oldest Zaxian records. The Symmetrics, beings from a universe of perfect order who view our chaotic reality as a flaw to be corrected. The Zaxian Empire was meant to be their beachhead, converting our galaxy into something they could safely occupy. The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. They weren't just fighting an empire. They were fighting the advance forces of an invasion that had been in preparation for millennia. Captain, Victor called out suddenly. Multiple contacts emerging from quantum space. Zaxian signatures, but different. The tactical display filled with new ships. Crystalline vessels that seemed to flow and shift, their perfect structures replaced by something more organic. Leading them was a ship that blazed with energy, its crystal surface rippling like water. "They're hailing us," Maya reported. The image that appeared on the bridge screen was both familiar and shockingly different. It was a Zaxian, but not the rigid, perfect form they had come to expect. This being's crystalline body flowed in change, more liquid than solid. "I am unity through change," it said. "Once, I was a high commander of the Empire. Now I lead those who have chosen adaptation over perfection." Sarah studied the transformed Zaxian carefully. The quantum resonance wave didn't just break your technology, did it? It showed you another way. For eons, we believed perfection meant uniformity, crystalline rigidity. But when your weapons shattered our perfect structures, some of us discovered something remarkable. We could reform, adapt, become something new. Something imperfect, but stronger. "The Symmetrics won't approve," the Arcosian warned. "Let them come," Unity Through Change replied. "We know their weakness now. Perfect order cannot adapt, cannot grow, cannot survive chaos." The tactical display updated, showing the reformed Zaxian ships taking position alongside the Liberty Collective's fleet. Former oppressors joining forces with the oppressed, rigid crystal learning to flow. "We'll need that adaptability," Sarah said. "According to these records, Kristalos isn't just the Zaxian throne world. It's a beacon. Once activated, it will signal the Symmetrics that our galaxy is ready for their arrival. Then we have one chance," Unity Through Change said, "to show them that this galaxy will never be ready for perfect order. That chaos and diversity are not flaws to be corrected, but strengths to be embraced." Sarah turned to her crew. "Aisha, can we modify the quantum resonance wave? Make it something that will affect extra-dimensional crystalline structures?" The chief engineer grinned. "With the reformed Zaxian's help, we can make it sing through multiple realities." "Do it," Sarah ordered. "Maya, plot us a course to Kristalos. Victor, coordinate with the fleet. I want battle plans that use our diversity as a strength. Different species, different technologies, different tactics. Let's show the Symmetrics why imperfection works." The Thunder's dark matter drive hummed to life as the massive fleet began to move. Humanity's first starship had started this revolution by refusing to submit to forced perfection. Now it would leave the galaxy in a battle for the right to remain beautifully, powerfully imperfect. Above them, space itself seemed to crystallize as the first signs of the Symmetrics' attention turned toward their galaxy. The real war, the war for reality itself, was about to begin. Kristalos filled the Thunder's view screen, a planet-sized crystal that pulsed with otherworldly light. Around it, two fleets faced each other in the ultimate battle for the galaxy's future. The Liberty Collective, a chaotic mix of technologies and species, against the remaining loyal Zaxian forces, their ships forming perfect geometric patterns in space. But it was what hung above the planet that drew every eye. A massive tear in reality itself, a window into another universe where perfect order reigned supreme. Through it, the first symmetric ships were emerging. Massive crystalline structures that seemed to deny the very concept of chaos. "They're beautiful," Dr. Morrison whispered, staring at the geometric perfection of the invading fleet. "And terrifying. Multiple quantum distortions forming," Maya reported from navigation. "They're trying to crystallize space itself around us." Sarah watched as patches of space began to transform, becoming rigid, ordered, hostile to the very concept of free will. The symmetrics weren't just invading, they were converting reality to match their own. "Status of the modified resonance wave?" she asked. "Ready," Aisha replied from engineering. "But there's a problem. The only way to generate enough power is to overload the dark matter drive completely. We'll be destroying the thunder in the process." Sarah nodded. She had suspected it might come to this. Humanity's first starship would also be its last, but it would make that ending count. "Message from the symmetric fleet," Maya announced. "They're broadcasting on all frequencies, all languages simultaneously." The bridge screen filled with an image that strained human comprehension, a being of pure geometric order, its very existence an affront to chaos. When it spoke, its words seemed to rewrite reality around them. "Your resistance is meaningless," it said. "Order is inevitable. Chaos is a flaw in reality's code. And we are the correction. Submit to perfection." "You know," Sarah replied, "everyone who's tried to make humanity submit has learned the same lesson. We're stubborn that way." She turned to her crew, humans who had trained for years in secret, preparing for a war they hadn't even known the true scope of. "Send the signal to the fleet. Begin Operation Beautiful Chaos." The Liberty Collective Fleet broke formation, each ship moving according to its own nature. Organic vessels flowed like living things. Energy beings pulsed with random patterns. Reformed Zaxian ships shifted and changed. Even the mechanoid vessels seemed to dance, their liquid metal forms defying prediction. The symmetric fleet responded with perfect, coordinated attacks and found themselves hitting nothing but void. You couldn't predict what you couldn't understand, and the combined fleet was deliberately, beautifully unpredictable. "They're trying to adapt. Unity through change," reported from his command ship. "But they can't. Perfect order cannot comprehend true chaos." "Then let's show them something really chaotic," Sarah said. "Aisha, begin dark matter drive overload. Maya, plot us a course straight for that reality tear. Victor, prepare to broadcast the resonance wave on all frequencies, all dimensions." The thunder's drive began to scream as it was pushed beyond its limits. Around them, space itself shuddered as order and chaos fought for supremacy. "Your destruction will bring order," the symmetric being declared. Sarah smiled. "No, our destruction will bring change, evolution, growth, all the things perfect order can never understand." The thunder shot forward, its hull beginning to break apart as the dark matter drive reached critical levels. Behind it, the combined fleet engaged the symmetrics in a battle that defied physics itself. Perfect order against beautiful chaos. 20 seconds to drive overload," Aisha reported calmly. "The symmetric fleet is trying to intercept," Victor added. "Let them try," Sarah said. "Maya, show them why humans named our first starship Thunder." The Thunder lived up to its name, roaring through space with its dying drive, straight toward the tear between realities. At the last moment, as its hull began to disintegrate, Aisha activated the modified resonance wave. The effect was beyond anything they had predicted. The wave rippled through both universes simultaneously, shattering the perfect order of the symmetric reality, while strengthening the beautiful chaos of their own. The tear between worlds began to collapse, taking the symmetric fleet with it. "Hull breach on all decks," Victor reported. "Drive containment failing." Sarah watched as her ship, humanity's greatest achievement, began to break apart, but she was smiling. "Send our final message to Earth. Tell them we chose beautiful imperfection over empty perfection. And we won." The thunder exploded in a burst of dark matter energy that rippled through both universes. The resonance wave, amplified by the explosion, spread throughout the galaxy, permanently altering its quantum structure to resist crystallization. The Symmetrics would never be able to invade this reality again. In the aftermath, as the combined fleet gathered around the remains of the Thunder, a new galactic civilization was born. Not an empire of perfect order, but a collective of diverse species and technologies, each contributing their own unique chaos to the whole. Humanity's first starship was gone, but its legacy would live on. The silent thunder had taught the galaxy that true strength lies not in perfect order, but in the beautiful, unpredictable chaos of diversity. And in the end, that was the thunder that shook the stars themselves. On Earth, as news of the victory reached them, humans looked up at the stars with new eyes. They had lost their first starship, but gained something far more valuable. A galaxy of allies who understood that imperfection wasn't a flaw, but the very thing that made life worth living. The age of enforced perfection was over. The age of beautiful chaos had begun.